You referred to noise earlier, and I think that's a lovely word in the context of where we are today, because it's, again, it goes back to having, not assuming you've got the answer, but being to be inquisitive enough and innovative enough to change. So I'm going to take on a challenging one. It's a bit of a pet peeve myself, so this may be cut from all of this. Placemaking. There's a big marketplace noise, let's say, about placemaking. Yeah. And by so many people and so many in different industries, whether it's the planning consultants or whether it's the designers and the architects, in their view, it's a physical thing. We're going to make 4 sides, and this is to be the thing in between, and we're going to call that place. Yeah. And that's not it. That's not it. It's about the human being, how they live, how they use it, how they color it in their own views, what lens they see it through, that happens to make it evocative and provocative and engaging and interesting. And again, if we use your work here in Sheffield as an example, the way in which you're able to take the legacy of making in Sheffield, God bless, I mean, the years and years, everything from the metals and the silver and the steel and the iron and on into many, many other things, and integrate that making culture in with a current commercial context and a current business context in one. Is really special. That's place.
That's place. And, picking up a point you mentioned earlier about sort of anthropology and so on, well, I actually completely separate to you, and you were on your path and I was on my path, but I also came across the world of anthropology, and I did some study, short study, but study nonetheless through University of Oxford in looking at social anthropology. And actually, again, from this guy that started in the construction industry, and it was about the buildings and the challenges and so on. But ultimately, that change in career, that working in local government property, and then real estate and regeneration, I actually got fed up with all the kind of standard models with that. And I thought, no, this is about people. And it's about, coming back to placemaking, it's about that space that becomes place when people want to be there.
Right, just it. And that's the answer. That's the answer.
If nobody wants to be there, it's not placemaking.
It's not placemaking, exactly. It's true.
And so it's got to be about creating the right conditions, or the natural conditions that people will gravitate to. And you're right, talking about the Sheffield DNA, those the metal trades, the independent trades that come together. Again, we've woven that into the Heart of the City scheme, alongside the big corporates.
Yeah.
So Lear's Yard, oversubscribed with people wanting to take space in there. The building we're in now, the Cubo workspace, again, full, of small entrepreneurs, but also other medium-sized businesses that have taken space here. So it's created that sort of almost honeypot effect that people want to be here.
But it's a weave, isn't it?
They want to interact.
It's a weave. To steal from the fashion world, or the making world, even, it's a weave. Each strand has its own integral personality and character. In fabric, it's color, tone, strength. In the world of placemaking, it's sociological, physiological, physical, and behavioral, right? It's all these, and that weave has to come together, and then all of a sudden the fabric of your place is really very, very rich. And you can't define that. It's the flow of water. It is the flow of water.
It is the flow of water. And when back in 2017, when I stood in the middle of this site and was trying to work out how on earth are we going to do this? How are we going to deliver this? And when my very, very scratchy sketch, I'm no artist, absolutely. I should have come to you in the first place to draw it up, but my very scratchy sketch, I didn't take it to anyone in the real estate world. I took it to people in the museums industry. I took it to people within the cultural engagement teams within the University of Sheffield, and I said, "What do you think of this?" And I had the picture. It was very scratchy, so I had to have a narrative and a bit of a key, and I kind of did it in my own sort of clumsy way, but I said, "This is the vision for this place. What do you think?" Or this space, even at that point in time. What do you think of this? And they loved it. They could see that the retention of some of the heritage buildings, the sort of uses that I was talking about, meant that people would gravitate to that space to make it a place. When I shared that initial information with the real estate guys, they all hated it because this was breaking the mold. They didn't know, they hadn't seen that mold before, the new mold. They hadn't seen that before, so they didn't like it. It was, this was never going to work. The development place was not going to work. But now it's everybody's idea, which is great.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
And so, and everyone, to be fair, everyone played their part. The refinement of that very scratchy plan was done by others. Looking at the occupier sort of strategy, was all held by others and everyone else on the team. So everyone's played their part in it. So let everyone take that success from that. But it was really about doing something different, and it was really interesting how the initial reaction from our traditional sort of real estate guys was, no, it's never going to work. And now everyone loves it. And I think that coming back to that focus on people, thinking about that anthropology side, thinking about how we operate, what makes us as people tick, was actually the key to success with this particular scheme.